Hello, and thanks for attending the SIOP Affiliate Benefits webinar. My name is Amber Warner. I'm the Membership Development Manager here at SIOP. And if you're watching this, you're either a new affiliate member or you're interested in SIOP affiliate membership. We're going to discuss the purpose of SIOP's new affiliate membership. You are going to hear from a recent SIOP affiliate member open house, some of the icebreaker questions that we asked attendees and some of their goals as a new SIOP affiliate member, where they're at in their career journey. You'll also hear how you can benefit from being an affiliate member and tips for new affiliate members. And there is also a Q&A at the end. David and Rick will be your SIOP affiliate points of contact here. So David has 7 years of experience practicing IO psychology, both as a consultant and internally in technical roles. And Rick is an assistant professor in IO psychology at Montclair State University. And here you'll see their contact information. Don't hesitate to reach out to them if you have any questions about your affiliate membership or SIOP in general. The first question that we asked the attendees at the SIOP affiliate open house was, what is your current role in your organization? Here are their answers.
My name is Dell Smith. I live in the Washington, D.C. metro area. I have been interested in IO psychology as long as I can remember. I majored in industrial engineering in undergrad, and my favorite course was people and organizations. I later, while working for USAA on the culture team, I got my master's in org leadership, and I'm now currently a director of culture and employee engagement. And the people science behind understanding your employees to drive better business results and culture is why I'm now interested in this affiliate membership. I've never been able to pursue membership because of my courses of study, and this is really attractive to me now. So
awesome, glad to hear it.
I'll go. My name's Sam. I'm a project manager in the facilities and engineering within the pharmaceutical industry, and I'm really interested in IO just to potentially use it later to help individuals and teams grow and learn. But just really, I'm kind of addicted to learning myself. So just moving from problem to problem and helping others is really a motivating factor to being here.
Hi, David. This is Keith. I'll go next. I'm really excited about this opportunity. David's mentioned that we've known each other for a while, and a lot of people think that I'm a member of SIOP because I've been going to SIOP conferences for, gosh, as long as I've been a consultant, almost 20 years. I've worked at CCL and DDI and Towers. I'm a retired Air Force officer, and I lead APT Metrics leadership assessment and development practice. And for 20 years, I've had IOs working for me, but I'm not an IO. None of my degrees are in IO. And so I'm really excited about this opportunity. I've spoken at SIOP maybe about 10 times and written a lot of papers in this area. And I love the mixture, the blend, and the diversity of this audience. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for us to take the science and blend this in practical application in a lot of other fields. So this is great. So thank you guys for doing this.
Oh yeah, of course. And yeah, Keith is, I think definitely one of the top experts of leadership assessment and assessment centers more generally than I've ever worked with. And I've certainly worked with a few. Let's kind of move on to the next sort of icebreaker area. And this sort of centers on a little bit more so kind of what you're sort of hoping to get out of your affiliate membership. And, sort of what interested you in joining SIOP to begin with.
Yeah, y'all can feel free to drop some answers in the chat, or again, if a couple people want to speak up, go for it.
Well, hello, Annabelle speaking. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, I'd like to work with collective teams in difficulty in organizations, and well, it's a bit difficult to speak fluently now for me, but well, that's it. And joining SIOP is well, for contacts, to meet people, to have experiences, exchanges about manners to work, and different ways of intervening in organizations, etc. Sorry for my English now.
Your English is quite good.
Okay.
All right, cool. Well, it seems like, yeah, we have a really fantastic array of different sorts of experiences. And I think kind of what is sort of binding us all together here is, not only our desire to keep, learning as practicing professionals, operating within this space, but to also sort of find that internal, or to just find that sort of broader community. I mean, personally, it is always nice. I always find to kind of get together and talk shop with people that are, from a wide variety of different organizations. And over the years, I have found SIOP to be, one of the best venues for doing so.
Okay.
Cool. So let's move on to giving sort of like a rundown of SIOP as an organization, and sort of go through some of the benefits of affiliate membership and how to make the most of your membership. I'll be passing it over to Amber.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So just want to do a brief introduction of who we are at SIOP. So I'm the membership development manager at SIOP. So I work at the administrative office. So I'm a little bit more behind the scenes as a membership development manager. So SIOP's mission, who we are, SIOP's mission is to enhance human well-being and performance in organizational and work settings by promoting the science, practice, and teaching of industrial organizational psychology. We'll just go ahead down to the next slide. And so affiliate membership, so as HR and related departments become more data savvy, the number of professionals from a wide variety of disciplines practicing in this area skyrocketed. And so we're thrilled at SIOP to have this growth, and we want to welcome people from different backgrounds and a wider variety of backgrounds into our community. And those are just a few photos from our annual conference, which sounds like a lot of you have been to, which is great. We're excited to be in Boston. So hopefully you all will attend that. And so I'll just briefly talk about some of the affiliate membership benefits, which you'll receive. So as an affiliate member, you can enjoy benefits in several areas. So you'll have knowledge. So at SIOP, you'll be apprised of the latest issues facing the profession with publications and other resources, which we'll get into some of those specifically in the next few slides. Connection, like we mentioned at the annual conference, networking with other IO psychologists and other affiliate members too, to help you expand your reach and meet new people. And we also have different opportunities for connection outside of the annual conference. Investment, so we make furthering your IO career and education more affordable through discounts at the annual conference and other events that we have too. And so, and I was thinking with this one too, Michelle, you may be able to give a little bit more insight into some of the knowledge, the publications, newsletters in this area. So would you mind taking over this one and just talking about just all the resources that we provide here?
Sure thing, Amber. So yeah, Amber is one of the, is it 10, 11 paid employees in the SIOP administrative office right now. So for a little bit of context, SIOP's about, on average, right around 10,000 members before we open the affiliate category, right? About 10,000 members strong every year, and only about a handful, like a dozen people, are actually paid to support SIOP. So It's a very community-driven organization, we like to say, and we're really happy that you're wanting to be a part of it, and so glad to have all of you joining us. And I'm our membership committee chair. I didn't say that earlier. Hi, I'm so glad to have you all here. So yeah, our publications, we've got the industrial organizational perspectives. So this is going to be where, oh, and I apologize, I don't remember how frequent these are, but they're really, really great series of articles where a main focal article will be shared with all of our membership, and then the number of people are able to respond to it, right? So a new theory might come out or some research might be done, and so then people who have additional input on that topic can respond, and we publish all of that in a summarized nice little article, and that's what goes into those. So they're really informative. We've got the tip. So, well, not the tip, it's TIP, the Industrial Organizational Psychologist, which comes out 4 times a year and is now completely published online. Back when I started in IO, it was actually a physical copy that we could take, and I had so many of them. So now everything is able to be hyperlinked, right, and connected to past knowledge as well. So it's a really great source to stay up to date, not only in what's going on within our field, but also SIOP itself, right? It's a place for sharing knowledge, both within the organization as well as what's happening in the development of our fields. We also have the newsletter that comes out, and I believe that's weekly, right, Amber? I'm pretty sure. And so the SIOP source is going to give you a highlight of about 6 or 8 little titles that you can click on that will take you into the website as well. And again, provide some really great insight to things that are going on, some important calls to action, right? There may be things that we want to bring attention to our membership, and that's our way to do it. So every week you will get that email to keep you up to date as much as possible. And then we do also offer our SIOP Research Gateway service, which is an additional paid benefit. So you get it at a discount, right? But it's an additional fee still on top of your membership. But it does provide, I think, 3 different databases of really great articles. So again, yes, Google Scholar can get you so far, but there's going to be other times where you're going to want to access materials that you can't get otherwise. And $50 is a very, very good deal for the amount of information you have access to that way. So again, if you're wanting to support something and provide evidence to a leadership within your organization, a great way to do that there.
Thank you, Michelle. So we can kind of go down to the next section, which I touched on briefly, but connection. So many of our members have met at our annual conference, which takes place in April, and that will take place in Boston this year, which will be an awesome location. The Leading Edge Consortium, which just happened, I believe, in November. So that's a bit of a smaller event. Local IO groups, which I feel like is something maybe a lot of new members are not super familiar with. You want to meet other IO psychologists in your area. We have the New York Metropolitan Association of Applied Psychology and the Dallas area IO psychologists. And virtually, we have a lot of different opportunities, which I guess the local IO groups you can meet in person and virtual now. So definitely recommend going into the database and just looking through to see what members are in your area to connect and just really, just meet them and maybe network and try to understand the profession and go to the annual conference.
Yeah, and I'll mention there too, Amber, I'm part of the Dallas one, and they have an email listserv as well. And so again, if you find an IO group that's local-ish to where you are and you're able to join them, definitely reach out and connect with that group, because there's never, I don't think really, I've never seen where they charge you an additional fee. So that's great. And then you're going to automatically just be connected to a bunch of people that are also in the field. And they will often send out job postings as well. So another great way to sort of source, connections in the IO world. And again, if you're looking for a role, there might be one there for you.
Yeah, that's great. We also have one thing I forgot to mention too. We have the IO Job Network too, which you can kind of add into the connection there, but that's also a great resource. There's a lot of new jobs posted. So that's another great place to look. In investment, we have that discounted annual conference and pre-conference workshop registration. Sorry, David, did you want to say something about that too?
Oh, I was just going to say, shout out to the SIOP Job Network. I've gotten 2 of my 3 IO jobs via that. So
nice. Yeah, that is a really heavily used resource on our website. We see a lot a lot of people going to that section of our website. We're looking to make that even better soon too. So definitely a great place to check out. And at the annual conference, there's also an event called the CCC, which is basically a career fair where we have an open house there as well on site where you can network with different employers and do some mock interviews there on site. So that's also a great resource. And you'll see that once the annual conference opens, you can check out that part of the page. So you have that discounted annual conference and pre-conference workshop, the Leading Edge Consortium, which happens in fall. We have an area about that on our website if you want to learn more about that. And then 20% off books in the SIOP series. And I'm going to totally butcher the Routledge Publishing. So just so you can, so I just put a photo of some of the books that they have there. So you can check that out too. And there's a special code once you visit the page that you can paste at checkout. And so I'll go ahead and hand that back to you, David, for how to get started with your membership.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, great things that you can start kind of doing, right away to sort of start making the most of your membership. We do have a presence across pretty much all of the major social media platforms. So you can kind of take your pick there if you would like to receive kind of regular updates or, join some discussions within those forums. We do also offer like continuing education credits for professional development. We also do a lot of advocacy work as well with the federal government, typically trying to encourage people to, in the government to adopt and promote more sort of scientifically rooted practices for managing their personnel. All right, now I think it's kind of time to open the floor for questions. So, if there are any questions that y'all have, now's the time. You can feel free to speak up on Zoom, or if you have a specific question, you can drop it in the chat if you like. You will also have to forgive me for having a bit of a raspy voice today. I think that there's a little bit of a cold going around here.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say hello. I'm Georgina Watt, and I'm ringing in from Australia. So I'm the Secretary of the National College of Organisational Psychologists here in Australia for the Australian Psych Society. So I'm just excited to be involved today and just to learn how we can collaborate further across the Pacific and learn what you're doing as well, so we can sometime do some replication of some of the great things that the ideas that you've come up with. So I look forward to joining, and I'm hoping to come over to the SIOP conference in April. So be great to meet some people at that time. So looks exciting. Looking forward to it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. We're definitely excited to have you here.
Yeah, and one thing I'll know after kind of seeing where everyone's from, and people are basically global. This will probably be the most global membership type, I would imagine, an international type. But after seeing like you guys are in such different industries, but one thing that comes to mind from seeing your backgrounds is this idea that you kind of just want to be better leaders. Like you don't need to better leaders, better managers, better supervisors. Go back to grad school. So I think it's going to definitely have a positive change. The diversity that we have here when you folks, when we see each other at SIOP and everything. So I look forward to meeting you folks in the future for sure.
All right, yeah. And
Does SIOP do much on the local level, like workforce development type stuff, like try to get some sort of, I don't know, platforms going that kind of work, like county to county or anything like that? Because that sure seems to be a need, kind of with the change in elected officials all the time and trying to get some consistency across the board and helping communities understand what drives the results they're looking for. I sure see a huge need there. I just wondered if there's anything done there. Or maybe that's opportunity.
I think that is actually a great opportunity. Michelle, Amber, Rick, please feel free to correct me. To my knowledge, I don't think we really have like a sort of standardized platform, but I think that could be like a good idea of maybe trying to like put together like a playbook on how to, implement some best practices and sort of build those programs from the ground up.
Yeah, you're right, David. I know they've been working this past maybe year or two, couple years with the government more closely. And so while there haven't been hands-on boots on the ground sort of just yet, there are policies being put in place. So starting kind of at that top level of where that is. So then, right, hopefully there starts to be impact over time. But yeah, that's definitely something if you're passionate about. Talk to us. We can connect you with the right people within SIOP and then figure out what makes sense as far as carrying those conversations to actually have action with them. That's great.
And I'll just say, looking at the chat, so Matt had a comment about having a bachelor's degree and deciding and wanting to be a doctor, but changing his mind, and is asking about whether a master's in IO would be a better way to help get a job in IO, because it's hard to get a job when they require an IO degree. I would say that yes, for sure, a master's in IO will get your foot in the door in a lot of IO type jobs. You can go far with a master's in IO, as many people can attest to. So yeah, definitely. And check out if you're unsure of what programs to, where IO programs are, definitely check out the SIOP website. We have a listing of IO programs and by degree type, PhD, masters, etc. So no, for sure, if you want to get an IO job, the easiest route would be to have an IO degree at the master's level. If you don't have like a whole bunch of work experience in an IO kind of position.
Yeah, because a lot of people do sort of find themselves kind of migrating into this work organically. Within the context of their current job, they might want to, they might sort of just find themselves doing this work over time. And,
There's a question from Sylvia. Do we publish a list of members? Michelle, did we do that? I'm not just.
Sorry, I scrolled the wrong way on the chat. Where is the question? Do we publish a list of members? We don't have one right now available for affiliates, but we can definitely, if there's a desire for that, that's something we can talk about launching in the future. That's the other thing I guess we'll mention at this point in time, since this is a brand new member type. We are very, very open to your feedback, right? And as good practicing IOs, we should take it and then action on some of it, right, where it makes sense. So if you do ever want to send Rick, David, myself, Amber, right, any sort of communication, please don't hesitate. My email address is all over the place, but I'll drop it here too. Amber's on the SIOP org, and then you have Rick and David's as well. But we're always going to be looking for what you would like as an affiliate member, right? And so if that's something that you'd like to have, let us know, and we will definitely talk to the powers that be within SIOP to see if we can get something lined up for you.
Yeah, and I can see Zach has a question about some potential book recommendations. I actually just grabbed an old favorite of mine off the shelves, the good old Oxford Handbook of Personnel Selection and Assessment is a fantastic tome that really honestly I feel tells you 95% of what you would need to know. And I'm saying that as somebody who spent 5 or 6 years largely focusing on selection and assessment. All right, so let's see. Other than that, using multivariate statistics by Tabachnik and Fidel, I think is a fantastic methodological toolbox for a lot of people doing data analysis and this sort of work.
It seems like Jessica, I don't want to butcher your name, so I don't want to get on anyone's bad side. So I'm sorry, Jessica S is has a question or comment. Yeah.
I do have a question. So it seems in this particular time that we're in that there are shifts with quote minimum qualifications for jobs. I know I myself, when I introduced myself earlier, I neglected to mention I'm actually a communications major that found myself working with folks in the IO community, HR community. Obviously, in this community, we're opening things up to expand across the different talent genres. Do you foresee in the future any changes to minimum qualifications for people that may have a skill set necessarily to offer without having to have a master's or a PhD in IO Psych?
That is I think that is a complex question. I know that like really when we think about not just IO related jobs, but when we think more globally, I do think that a lot of organizations are starting to kind of relax minimum qualifications. I at least have found in some of my work that in doing so, you're not necessarily reducing the overall quality of hires, provided that you have like robust and empirically developed processes for measuring technical and non-technical skills as well throughout your hiring funnel. I know that a lot of, I think that's, to date, that's something I've tended to observe a little bit more within tech companies, but I think that it is going to become more widespread over time. There's just so many benefits, I think, both from like a logistical standpoint, reducing the average amount of time to fill roles, and then a lot of benefits that you get from like a D&I perspective as well. So I think that's something that is, I think, not only sort of changing within jobs within this area, but I think that's kind of like a more global change we'll see a lot of organizations make over the next decade or so as they kind of reconsider the manner in which they've traditionally managed their human capital.
Thank you.
And just to add, regarding minimum qualifications, I know sometimes what we'll see or what I'll see is something along the lines of, you know, IO psychology degree or a related field, right? So it's I think it's getting a little bit more flexible in terms of, you know, if you don't have I-O, it doesn't necessarily mean you don't have value to add that an IO psychologist to add. You don't have the same knowledge and skill set that an IO psychologist has. So yeah, the minimum qualifications piece is it has a lot more to do with legal defensibility as terms of why they would hire one person versus another. I think that's kind of a benchmark, but for hiring people, but I am seeing there is a little bit more flexibility in terms of or a related field.
I think to Rick's point, because, you know, truth be told, there is a certain degree of kind of Venn diagram overlap between numerous different fields. And I think that's, you know, people are, I think to some extent, you know, that reality is sort of what is motivating us to expand and introduce this new sort of affiliate membership. I mean, I'm looking around here and I see a lot of people that are essentially doing work that in many ways is largely similar to what I've done in, what a lot of people would consider kind of very traditional IO psychology sorts of jobs. And I think that in time, organizations will realize that they largely benefit from taking a little bit more of a flexible approach with regards to minimum qualifications.
Aldra has a question or comment about being interested from transitioning from counseling to consulting psychology, and whether or not we have the best way to suggestions as to the best way to do so. I know on our website we have an IO career paths kind of like tool. I don't have the exact link for that right now, but on our site we do have kind of it's kind of like a nice diagram of like the different places you can go or work and do IO type work. I would say that definitely being an affiliate or being associated with the society is a plus, but in terms of I would say things to consider would be doing things that will build your CV so that someone who looks at it, or CV, your resume, so that someone who looks at it can see that you have IO competencies. That'll be the most critical thing that they're going to look at. So if I would say definitely look at the resources we have online, CE credits, for example, or I'm not quite sure how, it really depends how far you're willing to go, because you can go as far as you want to make that transition, but the farther you want to go into consulting psychology, it's going to be, I think, a matter of how much time and effort you're willing to put into kind of building those, getting that IO, some of the IO competencies that companies are looking for. So, but definitely talking to people too who've made transitions and meeting people. That's also, to be honest, like I've gotten a lot of unexpected, I've gotten a lot of advice that I didn't know I needed just from showing up to SIOP and bumping into people and talking to them and kind of saying, hey, I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with writing, or, I don't know, I have to write a lot, but that's the biggest hurdle for me. And I would get advice and tips and books and things. People would suggest things to me that would help kind of get me where I need to be. So, yeah, I think everyone has a different story on how they came to IO or how they're going to get to IO, but definitely putting yourself out there more, meeting people, asking questions, and kind of seeing what pieces of advice fit your vision the best. That's the way to go. So as far as another note, there's a comment from Conway. I don't know if someone answered Conway. Yeah, so Conway asks, would the affiliation be beneficial for those outside the US, specifically in the area of IO consultancy? Just from hearing that question, my answer would be a strong yes. The science of IO is actually very much an international field. I have colleagues in Europe, and the particular, the area of research that I'm interested in, there are aspect people in Europe who are actually farther, who are leaders in the field, for example, and they publish an IO journal. So no, yes, 100%. The stuff that the content, the knowledge, and the science that you'll gain, and best practices that you'll arrive at through being associated with SIOP as an affiliate, you'll basically be at the forefront of, you'll know where the field is in terms of science and practice of IO psychology, and there's definitely a market and a need for that in an international arena. If anything, there aren't enough people who know what we know. So the more you know, the more valuable you'll be.
And I would say that, you know, one thing internationally is that the term or the exact name of the field does oftentimes kind of change country to country. As far as I know, I think industrial organizational psychology is largely the term within the US and Canada. I know that in the UK, it's referred to as work psychology. You know, my boss in my current job, you know, is from the UK and studied work psychology, but we more or less studied the same thing. The German term for IO psychology is like Arbeit und Wirtschaft psychology, which is like work and economic psychology. So there's a lot of variance in terms of the terminology between different nationalities. But, you know, ultimately, I think what sort of unites all of them is really just the common subjects that are studied. Like you're ultimately studying the same things and doing similar sorts of work.
Yeah, and SIOP has been working over the last couple years to expand more globally, right? So we've always had a handful of members that don't live in the US, but really trying to embrace, like David and Rick were saying, the rest of the world. People work everywhere, right? And so we want to make sure that that science and practice is there, and really to help support and help get the research and knowledge out there as best we can. One of the big initiatives that our current president Mo Wang is working on this year, started up last year, putting it into place this year, is a virtual program in the Greater China region, so that people coming in at the, you know, I think it's undergrad, maybe grad level, can really access the SIOP material and learn about membership, of course, but beyond that, really learn the best practices within IO at the moment. So we're really excited for that initiative. I know there's talks about expanding into the rest of the Asia region as well. So yeah, we've got a lot of international members, and we hope to keep having more as time goes by.
Yeah, and I will add, we do have a lot more planned than what we're talking about at this point. But we're kind of we're of the mind to over deliver and not say rather than under deliver, but there's a lot more that we have planned for everyone. And yeah, this is just the beginning, and I'm really looking forward to the meet and greet and mixer and everything, and having sessions for affiliates at SIOP, and kind of just building that and just kind of growing this community. And I have a lot of ideas for how this will positively impact SIOP and the unique perspective you folks bring, and sharing your ideas and bringing it back to where you work. And yeah, there aren't enough people out there that know what we know. So the more people that know, the better, the more effective you'll be at work, and the better the workplace will be in general.
Yeah, I keep going back to, I just recently got to reconnect with my grad program director from many years ago. And he keeps, something that he said then, and he said it again just the other day, you know, think about a bad job that you had, or a bad boss that you had. If you could rewind the clock, which I know we can't, but if you could, and put an IO or someone who knew some of the best practices in place at that time, imagine how different your experience could have been. So you all are taking that great first step by coming to this call, by signing up for an affiliate membership and saying you want to learn more, do better, whether it's for yourself, your organization, somebody else, it doesn't matter, right? It's just getting it out there, like Rick said, and really spreading the word as much as we can. So we really thank you all for joining. And again, send us all your feedback, whatever you want. We'll have conversations back and forth and really be open to it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, thank you everybody for coming today. It's been fantastic to see all of y'all and to get to talk through some of these issues. It's really fantastic to see just such a broad mixture of people from different parts of the world, working in different sorts of jobs and with different sorts of backgrounds. You know, again, Myself and Rick are your points of contact. So if any of y'all have any questions or concerns, or if there's anything you'd like to know, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll get back to you shortly.
Yeah, and just so you know, the affiliate or the point of contact role is we're here so that you can ask those silly questions that you think are stupid or that you're embarrassed to ask. Like, that's really what we're here for. We're not necessarily so if there's a question that you think is too silly to ask, or you're in this unique position and you're looking on the website and you can't find an answer on the website, that's what we're here for. Like, people who can actually like help guide you to resources or just give you a perspective that you wouldn't otherwise have if you weren't a SIOP affiliate.
Any last questions, thoughts from anybody? All good. Awesome. Well, it's been really great. If you didn't get a chance to drop your LinkedIn in the chat and you feel like you want to, please go ahead and do so, and everyone can connect with one another. And we look forward to seeing you around SIOP for sure. This is really exciting. Really, really glad to have all of you.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for attending. And I put this in the chat, but we'll be resending the recording and the slides within the next week. So stay tuned for that. Thanks everyone. Have a great night.
Thanks, David and Rick. Bye, Amber. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. See ya.
See ya.